How talk maybe a little bit, and I know we're in a bit of an uncertain climate,
Yeah,
but just as the law stands today, with the free trade agreement between Canada and the U.S. and Mexico, I don't want to get into the tariff discussion,
right.
but let's just talk about professionals who want to move from one country to the other. I know at one point I saw a list of professions under the old NAFTA agreement. This was renegotiated 6 years ago,
Yeah,
so 2018, I believe, was it was
yeah.
renegotiated by all the parties. Just explain that process of getting that work permit for somebody to be able to move across the border, and just at a high level, some of the requirements and things that people should know about, and also too, I think where it may not apply, where you may not be eligible.
Okay,
I had an undergraduate degree in economics, and I went into a marketing role, and the marketing professions were not listed as viable options. Management consulting was an option, and economists were. So we had to change the title of my job to be, to leverage my economics background.
Mm,
So just some of those, I'd love
sure,
to
sure.
have you share some of those little ins and outs. I mean, I'm going on 20 years of history, and recall, and one person doing it as opposed to your
Yeah.
amazing experience here.
Well, okay. So a few things about the free trade agreement as it stands right now. Uh, a lot of people don't realize it's like a membrane. And so, whatever the rules are for going, let's say, southbound, those are the same, pretty much the same rules for going northbound. And
Okay.
so, I have attorneys, lawyers in my office, new lawyers that say, well, I know Canadian law, but I don't know US law. And I say, well, relax. The
Hmm.
laws are just the same, almost the same, so already like 80% of what you need to know.
Hmm.
And the same is true for clients. Uh, so,
Would that also apply to Mexico? I know
yeah,
you're not an expert in
yes,
Mexico, but
yes.
Mexico's a third party of that
Oh, yeah,
agreement.
yeah, yeah. We do Mexico, by the way, too, into the
Okay.
US and into Canada,
Okay.
and vice versa. Um, so, um, you've covered a few of the key things. Number one is there are the professionals. So, and you mentioned, you're an economist, for example. So, uh, the USMCA, which is what NAFTA is now called in the United States, and it's called CUSMA in Canada,
Hmm.
Canada, US, Mexico agreement. And in the US, it's US, Canada, Mexico. But anyway, so the USMCA, for those who are coming into the United States, there are basically two elements to it. One are the professions, like all about what you just talked about when you came, this
Hmm.
TN visa. It still
Hmm.
exists. It's still called TN, and it will for some time. Um, I'll just say this without getting into politics. Uh, so long as there's a free trade agreement of some kind, and let's say there's no change of that, even a
Hmm.
renegotiated trade agreement, it's very likely that the professions more or less will remain the same. So we're okay. And anytime in the future, like in the next 6 months or whatever, I don't think there's any major changes anticipated. And really, the TN visa is pretty much half of the immigration in the USMCA because it
Hmm.
covers all the professions: doctor, lawyer, architect, engineer, nursing, school
Hmm.
teacher, professor, you name it. And all the
Hmm.
therapies, physiotherapist, I don't remember all the names of all the therapists, but whatever. If you're like linguistic, this hearing
Hmm.
specialist and all this kind of thing, that's all in there. Doctors, under doctors and nurses, etc. So it's very broad and it's quite easy. It's like you need a job offer. And
Hmm.
now you can do it by yourself, maybe, or you can do it with a lawyer or attorney
Hmm.
helping you. A lot of people don't understand like the role of an attorney or lawyer in this process. So, for example, if I have a toothache, I know I have to go to a dentist. If I
Hmm.
break my leg, I know I have to go to a doctor. If I need to file my taxes, I have to go to an accountant. But many people don't know that there are lawyers who do immigration work. That's what
Hmm.
I do. We're like a dentist for dental care. Immigration.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's how you do it. If you don't know how to do it, it's through immigration lawyers. So, to touch on the question of what's not covered on the TN area, chiropractors are not covered.
Hmm.
Managers, for example, uh, I've had instances where a guy is going to manage a major store like Ralph's department,
Hmm.
grocery store. Can't go in
Hmm.
because the managers are not in there. management consultants are, but not
Mm-hmm.
managers. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're a manager or a director of something, there's no room for you. If you got a Bachelor of Commerce degree, there's no room for you in this thing. It's the quote unquote professionals. But there's ways of getting around it. So, for example, if maybe you are a technologist or technician, you might fall under an engineer category where an engineer supervises you, but you get the TN visa to work as a technician. That's an example. Or
Mm-hmm.
you might be capable of writing a manual on your field. So you might be a technical writer, as an example. Or you
Mm-hmm.
might be a management consultant, like you mentioned, where, okay, you're not going to manage, but you're going to tell managers how to manage. So you can get in
Mm-hmm.
that way. Or you're going to be a professor, so you can teach at the university, things like that. That's the TN category. And basically, as I mentioned earlier, all you need is a job offer, essentially, a letter from your employer saying, yeah, we want to hire you. Now it's 3 years, maximum 3 years, and then you
Mm-hmm.
renew for three and renew for three, etc. So let's say I'm an engineer. I want to go from Canada to the United States. I get a job offer from an engineering firm to be an engineer for 3 years, possibly renewable afterwards, but 3 years. And I state the salary and what the duties are. That's my entree into the United States. And I go to work the next day. When I enter, I go to work the next day.